in the top 8.
He was.
For the standard portion.
He was. I believe he was a Delver player.
Josh Napper, no, he was
he was the
Black
Red
Zombies.
Zombies.
That's right.
He was up there near a Delver player on our list.
And look at this, no and tell.
No and tell. All right, so this is the show and tell deck with Omniscience.
And we're seeing the blue-red burn deck on the left here from Erik Carson.
Blue-red Delver. So he goes with a Gataxian Probe, sees Burning Wish, Gristlebrand, 2 Omniscience, a Scalding Tarn, and a Mountain. So Josh Napper's opening hand. Several of the big daddies in the combo, in the combo piece, or the combo portions of his deck, as far as Omniscience and Gristlebrand. And he's got a Burning Wish there. So taking a look real quick at his list, we've got. I'm looking in the board. What can he grab? He does have access to a show and tell in the board for that Burning Wish. So he could potentially Burning Wish for show and tell, play Omniscience, and then just drop Gristlebrand into play for free. Drop the other Omniscience into play for free.
If you want.
I mean, if you really want to.
I love the Overmasters in this deck. It's awesome.
Very interesting. In part of that cycle with like Insist in Torment, right?
Yeah, I've won at least 2 tournaments with Overmasters in the deck.
So a turn 1 probe into a Delver for Erik Carson and passes back to Josh Napper. Not passes back, I'm sorry, passes to Josh Napper for Josh's first turn here.
And we see the turn 1 fetch here. I bet you that he is also going to have a turn 1 play, but it probably won't be as exciting as turn 1 Delver. Unless, of course, he goes Lotus Petal, Show and Tell, Omniscience, win. But I don't think he had those in his hand.
No, he could, I mean, yeah, that seems rough. I'm thinking he could, like, have top deck Lotus Petal and then gone with a Burning Wish to get the Show and Tell. So it's just an island, and here we go. Josh Napper putting the Hex Hex on the Delver, which is not Hex proof.
Oh!
But apparently the Hex didn't work.
It looks like he's got a penny sleeve for his Delver of Secret / Insectile Aberration.
It could just be a KMC perfect fit inside there, right?
I think he's one of the people that uses the.
It was a checklist.
A checklist, okay. And then decided the other card on the side.
Okay. That's fine. That makes sense. So a Mountain from Erik after his Delver flips and attacks. And now we've got a Chain Lightning. Erik Carson, super aggressive. And we've switched to 3D Delver.
What?
He's switched that out to his 3D Delver there. One of the Alterists on the Open Series circuit actually does those. And a number of Alterists actually do that kind of thing. Preordained from Josh Napper. That's a new card. We did not see that in his hand.
Preordained is awesome.
I love the Preordained.
He's not pondering, he's preordaining.
Preordaining.
But he is pondering what to do with his cards.
Considering. Is that a
Considering,
new...
I like that, considering.
Yeah, considering. Is that in the next blue
I hope that they don't make a card
cantrip?
called considering, because it becomes so hard to say words. You're like, well, contemplating. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. So, Scalding Tarn from Josh, and I believe he's done for his turn here. Yeah, path back to Erik, untaps his Mountain, untaps his Delver. I'm sorry, his Insectile Aberration. His 3D Insectile.
I know the secret.
Yeah. And in for another 3. Josh Napper down to 10 life. Erik Carson, Hidetsugu, second right. Oh, no, it's not on his list, sorry.
Wow, Contemplation is a Magic card. I hadn't realized.
I was thinking that one sounded a little, but it's funny, it's not blue.
In for 3. Erik thinking about other plays here. This blue-red list, the first time I saw it have any success in Legacy, Andrew Shrout used it to win a Star City Games event maybe last year. Wasteland in play for Erik Carson. Now, basically what you're looking at here is a Delver Vendilion Click Snapcaster backed up by a lot of burn.
Yeah, he's got a couple of Grim Lavamancers, actually three Grim Lavamancers, a bunch of burn spells, handful of counter spells.
Now, the deck that Shrout was running was a Price of Progress Fire Blast deck, so this is a much closer to Rug Delver in certain ways with its card selection. It has Force of Wills, Dazes, Ponders, Spell Pierces, Spell Snares.
Josh plays Mountain.
Now,
respecting the Wasteland.
I would try to guess how much those basic lands are worth, but apparently I was way off with my last guess. Grim Tutor apparently $200, not $50.
Not 50, as you mentioned. So a Burning Wish from Josh Napper. Take a guess at those.
Burning Wish? I've got no idea.
I'm sorry, the basic lands you mentioned.
Oh yeah, the guess at those 8.
It's pretty close. I think they're roughly between 5 and 7.
Josh Medina, let me know.
John Medina.
John Medina. Sorry, John.
So a Spell Pierce
John.
hits that Burning Wish. You're looking at Josh Napper's name.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, okay. So the Burning Wish gets Spell Pierced. I wonder what that was going for. Do you think it was going for an Overmaster?
Could have been just going for a Show and Tell, and I wonder if could have been going for an Overmaster. That's true. Maybe he's drawn a Show and Tell. Does he have Overmaster main? He has 3 main.
3 main, 1 board, which is the maximum amount you can run when you're a Burning Wish deck.
Yeah.
That's your 7 Overmaster list.
That sounds illegal. There's a Brainstorm from Josh Napper.
And it works.
It's getting cloudy. I'm feeling a Brainstorm coming on.
Every Brainstorm is an opportunity to lose the game.
What are you trying to hex Josh Napper now?
Not at all.
Trying to jinx him?
Nope, nope.
Curse him?
Nope.
Enchant him?
Nope.
Okay. Bewitch him?
Nope.
All right.
Waiting to see how this Brainstorm goes.
So for those of you guys just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco, joined in the booth by Adrian Sullivan, and we're watching round 5 of 8 of the Legacy Open Series here in Denver, Colorado. And Josh Napper in the middle of resolving a Brainstorm with his No and Tell deck.
Now this tournament, there are enough players just over the threshold for 8 rounds. It is actually possible for an X2 to make top 8. The Scalding Tarn is sacked to fetch, I should say. And we're gonna see if that Brainstorm gets to, yep, it's a Braincestral Recall.
Yeah. Gets an island.
Respecting the Wasteland on Erik Carson's side of the board.
Absolutely. I mean, it's there, so if you can respect it, go ahead and do it. I love those basic lands that Josh is playing. Those and the unhinged basics are probably my favorites.
I actually prefer those if I'm fighting with uns. These are the uns who win for me.
Yeah, okay. I like the unhinged slightly better. But there we go with a Preordained from Josh Napper.
All of this manipulation, to what end?
Yeah, he's trying to, basically he just wants to get Omniscience into play. Or Omniscience, as I've heard some people pronounce it.
Omniscience. That's funny.
I mean, if you sound it out, I guess that's what you end up with.
Omniscience, that's funny. No, he does not need to win with Omniscience, but that is a very potent way to do so.
Yeah.
He can kind of just do that whole sneak and show style win with just putting a Gristlebrand in play.
Yeah,
and letting that be enough.
He doesn't have sneak attack, so I guess it's not the sneak and show.
That's why
part,
I said, yeah, he can do that sneak and show style.
Right.
Where it's just, because those decks just go for the turbo out the big monster.
So Josh Napper now has a Burning Wish on the stack.
1 mana floating. Thank you, City of Traders. Various members of Wizards R&D have claimed City of Traders style cards were one of the biggest mistakes that they've made.
Well, it really, I mean, it depends on what format you're looking at, because I think the fact is, I think Legacy is a very balanced format, and you have access to a lot of these powerful cards, but they all keep each other in check. You
So
know?
you're saying you've essentially got a really, really dangerous ecosystem, but it all works out?
Potentially, yeah. I guess that's true. So he gets he gets to resolve his Burning Wish, finds Show and Tell, and passes the turn. And there's a brainstorm from Eric Carson, going to try to make sure he's set up for the Show and Tell that he knows is coming sooner rather than later. Josh actually right now has. On his next turn, will have access to 5 mana if he misses his land drop, and that's enough to resolve Show and Tell through a Daze or through a Spell Pierce, but not both. We know Eric has a Spell Pierce. At least I saw one.
I
I'm pretty
predict
sure
we're going to see a Wasteland happening before Josh gets to his next turn. True story.
I think that would be a nice decision from Eric to shut off, if Spell Pierce is indeed the card that he has. There it is, Wasteland on City of Traders. That was all at the end of Josh's turn. So Eric untaps, swings in with his Delver, knocking Josh Napper to 3 life. And if Eric Carson has a burn spell that does 3, might all be for naught anyway, because Josh Napper may be shuffling up for game 2. Eric Carson cracking a Scalding Tarn here, finding what looks to be a Volcanic Island. Yes, Volcanic Island.
Not much time left for Josh. Spell Pierce in Eric's hand. I don't know what Josh can do here other than a Overmaster into Show and Tell and then get the victory.
Yeah, the thing right now is not only does he want to hope, not only is Josh hoping Eric doesn't have a counterspell, but he's hoping he doesn't have a burn spell even more so.
Yeah, a Lightning Bolt would do it, and I think Eric's going to just do a dig here.
There's a ponder.
Let's just see if I can find one just in case.
Yeah, he's got...
Maybe you're dead.
He's got enough burn spells in his deck that it's a reasonable chance of hitting one off of all this shuffling and pondering. And that was such a quick ponder that it makes me think that he found something. There it is, Chain Lightning. And does Josh Napper have any answers for a Chain Lightning? I mean, he plays Force of Will. Okay, no answer. So Josh Napper scooping him up, go to game 2, unable to put together his combo fast enough in the face of an Insectile Aberration and several bolts of lightning. Slower bolts, but bolts nonetheless. It's funny, you know, like a lot of times. So these Show and Tell decks have a lot of varieties. There was like Reanimator that played Show and Tell, right? So it was really a Reanimator deck that just had Show and Tell as a backup, or sometimes it would just transform into Show and Tell. We've had Show and Tell Hive Mind.
Yep.
Right. We've had Sneak and Show, the more recent Show and Tell deck, I think. And now, you know, with Omniscience, we have yet another angle. So that's a wide variety of decks taking advantage of Show and Tell, and having a pretty big impact on the format. What do you think about the card Show and Tell in Legacy? Because I've heard people mention maybe that's the problem card now in Legacy.
Problem? I don't know about the word problem.
Okay.
I'll think of it as a problem when, in the current Legacy, decks try to fight it and can't.
I agree. Okay. I'm with you there.
I mean, I think it's a very potent card, but the very nature of the card makes it a dangerous card.
For sure. We've seen Show and Tell resolve against a Battle of Wits deck.
I was just thinking about
on
that.
SCG Live. And the Battle of Wits deck, of course, puts Battle of Wits into play, ending the match on his own upkeep, right? Is upkeep is when the Battle of Wits triggers?
Yes.
So Show and Tell helped his opponent much more. So and that's not the only time you've seen Show and Tell actually be more.
I mean, I've seen it cause losses a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, Gilded Drake is a common card. Now, obviously, you can't simply say, "Oh, this deck is not that big of a problem. You can beat it if you want." That's not an appropriate answer, you know. If a format warps terribly in order to deal with it, that can be an indication that there's a problem. But if a format does not have to warp very much, if it merely bends a little, then I think you don't have to worry so much about a deck.
I'm with you. I actually think it's neat that I think it's a positive thing to look at show and tell and say, look at all these cool decks it spawned, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Reanimator is a cool deck. I think Reanimator's an awesome deck, but there is so much graveyard hate out there that show and tell, while not a primary card in the deck, it's the best way it's one of the best ways that the Reanimator decks have to fight against anti-graveyard strategies. You know, if you're going to build your entire deck around the graveyard, then it's nice for the Reanimator decks to have another option. And like you said, cards like Gilded Drake are seeing a little more play. We've seen one today.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, I saw a game with elves, right, where elves sideboarded in Humility, and the person went show and tell, and they were like, Bristlebrand, and they were like, Humility.
Humble Brand.
I see your demon is a 1/1.
Yeah.
So are all of my elves. But that was Caleb Durward that did that. Caleb's name mentioned a lot this weekend, I think partly because he's awesome.
I think it's a good reason. That's interesting. Someone mentions on Twitter, contemplation is the French translation of ponder.
Contemplation. You know, I always like Sauvage Bâtard.
Yeah, what about delay? French delay is interesting. There was Huntmaster of the Fells is Jägermeister, I believe, on the Fells.
Nice.
And
That's what it means.
That's German.
Yeah. One of my favorite cards is the Spanish Kargan Dragonlord, Señor de los Dragones, Mr. Dragon.
That's great.
And Erik Carson up one game here with Blue Red Delver versus Josh Napper with No End Tell. Or Omnitel. Omnitel
Nope.
sounds like a really stupid corporation.
It does.
I work for Omnitel.
Sounds like a software corporation.
Yeah, or like a telecommunications company, yeah. Sideboard-wise, I think we can expect Erik more Force of Wills, Pyroblasts. And that's probably it. A particularly aggressive choice might be Surgical Extractions, and by aggressive, I don't mean killing you. I mean like really pushing the boundaries of what you want to go for. So maybe a better way to put it is a really radical choice. I don't know if that's the way to go, though. On the other side, Josh Napper, I think he's going to bring in 3 Vendilion Clicks and then just leave it. The big reason being, a click can hop in the way of a Delver. A click gets through Spell Pierce. A click can't be Spell Snared. And a click, it could just take the clock off the table as well as simultaneously getting rid of an answer that Erik runs.
Well, Josh starts off with a Misty Rainforest, cracks that, and goes to find an island, respecting the wasteland right off the bat. And a ponder, or a contemplation, from Josh Napper.
How do you say contemplation in French? Contemplation?
Probably, just with an accent.
Yeah. Ho 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 ho.
So
Baguette.
ponder resolves. He
I think
quickly resolves that ponder and passes to Erik Carson.
I think you just say baguette.
That doesn't sound like the correct pronunciation.
Oh. 3 Moon Ponder, my favorite.
I like Lorwyn Ponder. We've had
Do you
this
like
conversation.
Lorwyn Ponder because it's old, or because it's got a merfolk on it?
More because it's old, I guess.
Right.
I
You're
feel
in the
like
Patrick Sullivan school then.
Yeah, I like the older. I like the artwork too. Like, I mean, I mean like, I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like it's just a hand and 3 circles. You know, like that's not very impressive artwork to me. Even if flavor-wise it makes more sense, because who knows what those merfolk were doing in the ponder artwork. They're just like, hey, we're swimming. Ponder. That's what we're doing.
Yep. Woodland,
So
Wooded Foothills gets Volcanic Island. Ponder, shuffle.
Yeah, honestly, like if you look at Lorwyn Ponder, I don't know how that artwork makes any sense with the flavor of it. Like, it kind of looks like they're holding clouds. Like I don't. It's like she looks kind of like she's about to yell.
I think what's happening actually.
Tell somebody it's dinner time.
I think what's happening actually is that they're looking into the sky from the water, and they're like thinking about their place in the universe.
Okay. Yeah, that's a stretch. It really looks like she's just saying, "Hey, come on, we're ready to leave." So brainstorm from Josh Napper. And he finds a Scalding Tarn, plays it, cracks it. Finds another island. Interesting. Did not find a mountain there. Must not need it.
Who needs it?
Who needs mountains when you've got islands?
Right?
Austin Yost is 4-1 already here in round 5.
One of the things we see for all of these combo decks is just a massive amount of ponder, preordain, brainstorm, just trying to make sure you can sculpt things for that perfect turn where the win just happens. This is the nature. Oh, there's the surgical extraction.
Uh-oh.
Trying to make sure you can sculpt things for a really, really powerful turn has always been the nature of combo. But right now in Legacy, there are so many incredible cheap counters or cheap manipulation spells. It's very easy to do. We see Vendilion Click. As expected, Force of Will, Gristlebrand. Is that Omniscience there next to Gristlebrand? I think so. Yeah, that's Omniscience.
Right there is Personal Tutor.
Oh, it's Personal
Tutor.
Tutor.
You're talking about Omniscience up there.
Yeah,
so
Omniscience.
That's what you were looking at.
Yeah,
so,
Omniscience, Force of Will, Gristlebrand, Personal Tutor? Wow, look at that. Only one in the deck.
It's a card. Did you get all those down?
Most of them. All of them.
All right. So Brainstorm.
Goodbye, Brainstorm.
Surgically extracted by Erik Carson. I don't know about that. Like, I don't know about surgical extraction.
Right.
In that particular case. Even in this particular matchup. I don't quite care for surgical extraction that much, but
well, you know, I think that the idea for a lot of surgical extraction games is if you can just answer the threat once, get the show and tell once, you can get them all out. But this surgical extraction seems a little aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he has another one. Maybe he brought in a couple. How many does he have here? He has
2.
2. So maybe he's got them both, and he thinks, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and use the first one on a Brainstorm to stop some of that library manipulation, and I'll hold this other one for later. So here comes Erik Carson's going to try to flip his Delver here. Josh Napper with the Hex. And doesn't. The Hex works that time.
Yeah, when you surgical extraction and you get a minor part of a deck, unless you happen to get a Cabal Therapy style hit and get a card out of the hand, it feels pretty bad. You have to really do a card like surgical extraction and get one of the big parts of the deck.
Yeah, and that's what it seems like to me. And Delver comes in for 1.
Bit by bit. A little bit here, a little bit there.
Underground Sea from Josh Napper. Josh passes back. And Delver.
Will the Hex work again?
He did it like a little late, but it worked.
Oh, wow. I wish I had skills like that.
Yeah, seriously. It's like after your opponent looks at the top of his library, you Hex and it works.
If you're really good at it, you can literally change the actual card that's in their hand.
If you're really good at it, yeah. And Wasteland for the Underground Sea.
This is one of the actual secrets to knocking a deck. The idea is if you knock a deck, you can knock all of the good cards to the bottom for your opponent. They actually just fall to the bottom of a deck.
That's so crazy.
Days here on the click.
Yeah, so Josh uses his Underground Sea to generate a mana quickly.
Are we going to see a Force of Will here from Josh?
We know
Is he going
has
to be
it.
willing to do that fight?
Vendilion Click versus Daze. Right now the Daze is winning. Josh is thinking about that Force of Will. What else does he have? He's got Omniscience Personal Tutor to remove.
Yep.
If he uses...
Gristlebrand, Omniscience Personal Tutor, Force of Will are the cards we know. And he's like, you know what? I'm not willing to fight the fight. I think that's fair.
Yeah, he'd rather keep the other cards in his hand than use the Force of Will now. So Lightning Bolt to the face from Erik Carson after his Daze takes out Josh's attempted Vendilion Click.
Yeah, just imagine if Josh had actually fought that fight with Force of Will, and then Erik got to have the pleasure of just being like, bolt your click, whatever.
Yeah.
Hex? Josh forgot to Hex.
He did forget to Hex. He's actually hexed it so powerfully that he's hexed the top several cards of Erik's library to keep that Delver from flipping. So Delver being very stubborn for Erik Carson. Or actually it's being stubborn for Josh Napper.
Right.
And Delver number 2 from Erik Carson, and that gets the Force of Will, removing Personal Tutor.
Just trying to keep the clock from being too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because if that Hex fails ever, 2 Delvers flipping is really bad news.
That's a lot. It's a lot of damage. It's a ball lightning every turn. Josh here needs some mana. He's just struggling right now. Thankfully, his clock right now is a 12-turn clock, but that could turn into a 4-turn clock with an instant's notice.
All right, looks like we're having some discussion about the graveyards here. All right. Josh appears ready to make a land drop. And it is an Ancient Tomb, freshly printed in From the Vault Realms. I think available any day now. In foil.
Do you play the card Delver?
Yeah, occasionally.
What kind of Delver player are you? Are you a proxy card?
I flip it. I leave it in there. I don't like the
leave it,
checklist.
flip it. Do you re-sleeve it when you flip it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a leave it in the sleeve, take it out, and have it outside the sleeve when it flips.
Yeah. I always just re-sleeve it.
In for 1, down to 10 now. 2 mana.
And a
Snapcaster, does that work?
Are we going to Snapcaster Bolt here? Snapcaster Ponder. Okay.
Just looking for some more useful cards. I see a Spell Pierce in there.
He's trying to flip that Delver is what he's trying to do, not just find useful cards. I think he's more keen on flipping the Delver because it's been about 5 turns now. I think the Delver's just been refusing to flip for Erik.
Wasteland.
Plays
wow,
a Wasteland.
That was awesome for him.
Takes out the Ancient Tomb.
The clock's there. He's going to have a flip if he wants it. A 2-turn clock for Josh Napper. And he says go.
Yeah, this is rough. Here comes
Flip.
the...
I know the secrets.
There it is. He knew there was a Brainstorm on top, and Delver flips.
In for 5, down to 5. And now Josh is in the unenviable position where he has to win on this draw against the Brainstorm and the other setup. I think that's it.
Yeah, not a... Well, he has a land.
Still think it's it.
Not a lot he can do. Erik's going to Brainstorm here. I assume that was in response to Josh ending his turn. Unfortunately for you, no Intel fans, Josh Napper unable to even really put together the combo this match. Like, it didn't even seem like he was close to putting it together.
He kept on having little things happen basically wrong, you know. His mana was torn up. He had counter spells happen against his click that he was going to use to probably get rid of one of his own cards in his own hand at that point.
Yeah, I was thinking that
yeah.
too. And Josh cracks a fetch in response to the attack. Plays a Vendilion Click after finding a mountain.
This works.
Josh is at 4 now. Oh, after that fetch.
Josh is not dead yet.
Not yet. And it appears Erik doesn't have a ready answer here.
He's got a Spell Pierce, he's got a Spell Snare, he's got a Delver, he's got a Mountain.
Yeah. No answer for the click. And you wonder if Josh, who he's going to target. Because at this point, if he has the fuel or the tools to go off here, if he can see what, you know, around what Erik has, if he takes a look at Erik's hand.
Yeah, that's the big question mark. It's a hard mark there. I mean,
it certainly is. I don't know what his plan is here, but
yeah, I mean, he knows he's got some weak cards in his own hand, and I think he's targeting himself.
And he is.
Goodbye, Burning Wish, he says.
Draws a fresh card off of the click.
Now he's at 4 life, 1 less life because of that fetch land. A 2-turn clock, no matter what here. Blocks the flyer. Take that, Insectile Aberration.
Takes out that Delver with his click, but loses the click. Josh Napper at 2. In range of Snapcaster Mage's Mega Man arm. Delver number 2 from Erik. That one resolves. Not particularly relevant right here. Josh
and he lays it down.
And says, yeah, I've got nothing.
Fire Ice. All of the stuff Erik has. Yeah, I could have burned you anyway, dude.
Yeah, he's like,
still had all these.
Yeah.
These.
Yeah. So Erik Carson with blue-red Delver takes the match, and I'm starting to see a trend here. The blue-red or rug Delvers seem to be really pulling off a lot of wins. Now, I believe